So I like to start off with a large hot pan and about 2 tablespoons of butter. I know it sounds like a lot of butter, but trust me, you're going to need this much butter. And get that butter spread out as evenly as possible into the pan because we're going to use some large steak patties for this. It's really what it is chopped steak. It's actually ground sirloin that you use for Salisbury steak. I don't know what other people use, but that's what I use. So you don't have to wait for the butter to melt all the way, as long as you got enough coverage on there where the patties won't stick. My patties are about 1/2 inch thick. They will cook a little bit more evenly if you had them thinner, but I like a thick patty. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but my patties are not perfect. So you never have to get your patties perfect, but you do have to make sure that they can all fit in the pan. Make sure to throw a little salt and pepper on both sides of the patty before you put them in. And you don't have to be too liberal with the salt and pepper because the gravy is actually going to do the talking of this dish. So it's not like with the hamburgers where I put seasoning throughout the patties. You don't have to worry about any of that. Alright, so it's taking a little longer for my patties to cook, and that's just because they're so thick. If you want them to cook faster, just make thinner patties, and you can actually just cut them in half, and you'll have 6 patties instead of 3. But all this stuff here at the bottom of the pan, you're going to keep that stuff. That's going to be a big part of the gravy. That's where all that flavor is going to come from, or at least quite a bit of that flavor. Alright, so I had a problem. My patties were way too thick. They were actually not cooking all the way, and I was starting to burn the inside, so I cut them in half, and I went ahead and flipped them and started cooking them. Anyway, don't do what I did. Make thinner patties to start out with. You won't have these issues. You won't have this issue if you do that from the get-go. So once you get all the patties out of the pan, go ahead and throw in 1 small white onion, roughly chopped, just like I have here. They don't have to be anything fancy. They don't have to be julienne or anything. You're just trying to get that onion flavor into the pan. And cook them until they're about translucent or just almost translucent, however you want to say that. There's not really much of a time frame on it, so just cook it until you start noticing that you can just barely see through them. And also, for the sake of sweating these onions, you want to throw in a little salt and a little pepper. Not a whole lot, just a pinch of both. And give it a quick toss around in the pan. The camera don't really do it justice, but that is translucent for the onions. And then at this point, we're going to add 6 or 7 baby portobello mushrooms sliced. And I think in translations, that's going to be maybe 2 large mushrooms. I'm not sure. But we're not going to cook those mushrooms down very much because the mushrooms are going to do more absorbing than they're actually going to do giving. So okay, so did I mention that you have to let this stuff simmer for about 15 minutes? I feel like I didn't say that. So you gotta let this stuff simmer for about 15 minutes and add salt and pepper to taste as you go. And like I said, for a looser gravy, just add that 1 more cup of chicken stock. I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't use any beef stock in this Salisbury steak recipe. Most recipes that you'll find will call for a beef gravy. Mine's I really feel like chicken and vegetable stock works better for this. I really do. Like this, I like the foodie combinations of things. Anyway, just keep taste testing it, and once everything tastes right, it's not too salty or anything like that, go ahead and start throwing your patties back into the gravy and toss everything up. Get those patties coated. then here's the finished product. I normally don't talk at the end of the videos. I normally just let the food do the talking, but this one was kind of complex for me because I tried to pair a Mediterranean thing with a Southern country classic. The steak was great. It was savory. It was tender. The gravy was perfect. The only thing is when you pair it with that couscous, it kills the dish. It just destroys it. You only eat Salisbury steak with rice. I'm sorry. It's the only way it works. You got to do it that way. But anyway, though, guys, thanks for supporting me. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube page. Check out quartercups.com. And to make sure to keep up with us on Facebook and Instagram.